Greetings all. My name is Sarah-Luella Baker, and I am a Tamalpa Life Art Practitioner, a registered somatic movement educator and therapist, and a lifelong educator, and also a parent of two. I'm here today to engage in a practice of land acknowledgement as a life art practice and as a somatic practice for healing colonizer wounds. So I want to say first that, while everybody is welcome to this workshop, it is targeted towards those of us with European heritage who have colonizer roots, sometimes known as white people. And yet I would welcome feedback from others as well. So I will offer a land acknowledgement that I am here on the lands of the Multnomah and Clackamas and Kalapuya people in what is more commonly known as Portland, Oregon. And I think it's really important. This is something that is on, I talk about a little bit on my website, that these are colonizer names for these lands, and that these names, such as Portland, Oregon, are only very recently adopted by some, and that they come with a very painful and genocidal history. And that, for me, it's really important to offer daily thanks in many different ways to the ancestors who tended these lands with love and wisdom prior to colonization. And I maintain hope that we might remember from their descendants how to care for our earth, our home, our mother, the lands that we live on. So I wanted to offer this this mini lecture workshop experiential in honor of Anna Halpern and her daughter Daria Halpern, who are the founders of the Tamalpa Institute and who have been tending land in Northern California in the Bay Area since the 60s and 70s. And Anna Halpern, who was the founder of the life art practice, or one of the founders with Daria, was deeply embedded in the land and acknowledgements of the land through her earth dance and the land that she stewarded, and still through Mountain Home Studios' ongoing legacy of land and art. And we begin in land, right? Our bodies are land. We are material just as the earth is material. And so I would like to invite us to think about land acknowledgements, not just as performative gestures we do in order to help Indigenous people or recognize Indigenous people, although that is very important. The recognition is very important. The help maybe not as welcome, and a little false feeling at times. So I offer this also as a way for us to land as white folks in a reimagination of ourselves as part of the land, because our bodies know when we are disconnected, right? This is a complex issue. And when we feel a complexity in our bodies, there's also great opportunity for healing. Keeping ourselves at arm's length from the land is part of the ongoing harm. And I suggest that we do this because we want to keep ourselves at arm's length from the historic harm. And we also do it because of fear. And yet there's a falseness in this too, because we know as somatic practitioners that the body keeps the score. The body knows. We cannot be separate from the land in which we live. We cannot be separate from the things. Sorry, that's my dog. We cannot be separate from the things that happened on this land. So through these practices, we can deepen these practices, right? By thinking about and embodying the ways that we perform these gestures. And instead of it staying up here in our heads, in our minds, in our intellect of like, oh, this is something that I do in order to make amends, we can start to ground it. We can start to understand how it sifts down into our soma, into our bodies, and thereby enact a healing for ourselves as well, which is really paramount to us truly understanding how this history has also harmed us and impacted us as settler colonizer peoples. So here's a little practice for us to enact together. And so if you know the name or names of the indigenous peoples who are native to the land that you live in, I want you to write that down. And if you don't know, I want you to listen first and then pause this video. So I want you to just pause for 2 to 5 minutes and look it up. Do a little bit of learning and learn one name and the pronunciation. You can Google both of those things. You can look up both of those things on your computer. You could Google who are the indigenous people of wherever it is that you live. And if you don't know how to pronounce the name, you could look that up as well. And then I want you to write it down on a piece of paper and just do your best. This isn't about perfection. So if you need to do that, you can pause this video now and come back when you're done. And once you have that name, I only want you to work with one name for now, just to be able to practice this in a more embodied way. Find a place in the land that you live in, preferably outside, but it could be inside as well. And you could sit on the earth, on the floor. And if that doesn't feel accessible to you, that's absolutely no problem. You could sit in a chair or on a couch as well. If you have access to like a wooden chair or a cloth couch that's covered with natural materials such as cotton or wool, that would be preferable, because then you're sitting on something that was actually made from the earth. So find a place to sit where you can really feel your seat, either on the earth or on the chair or couch. And once you're there, if it feels comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. If not, you could just gently hood your eyes, look down, soften your gaze so that the things in front of you are a little bit blurry. You just let your sight be sort of secondary right now in whatever way feels comfortable to you. And begin to notice your breath. Maybe there's a sigh or an exhale, an audible exhale that wants to happen. Just noticing your breath. And softly releasing your pelvis, the bottom of your pelvis, into the earth, the chair, the stump, the grass, the couch, as you're breathing. So inhale interacting with the atmosphere. Exhale. Release the pelvis into the earth. And repeat. I'm just noticing the breath and the weight of the body. And allowing yourself to be held. Allowing yourself in this way to be known by the land, to be seen by the land. Inhaling the atmosphere, exhaling and releasing the body, the pelvis into the earth. Being received and known by the land. Different kind of land acknowledgement. Now, staying in this place, breathing in, releasing out, I invite you to place one hand on your own cheek and the other on the face of the earth or the couch or the chair. One hand on your cheek or face and the other on the face of the earth. Breathing in, releasing the pelvis as you breathe out. Connecting your face to the face of the earth. And in a moment, I would like for you to say your full name out loud 3 times, like this. Sarah-Luella Baker. Sarah-Luella Baker. Sarah-Luella Baker. Only you'll say your name. Ready? Begin. And when that's complete, continue to breathe. And you're going to, in a moment, say the name of the indigenous people that you have on your paper or in your head. Only one of the tribes. Like this. Kalapuya. 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 Ready? Begin. And as you finish, just notice your body. Notice the acknowledgement. Notice any shifts that have happened in your body. And I invite you to let this practice be an opening into understanding acknowledgement of the land, and thereby acknowledgement of the suffering and harm that has been enacted on and for this land, and the extraction that has occurred. And also an opening into understanding our body as land, our self as land, and an opening practice to learning and engaging with land acknowledgement in new and interesting ways. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I hope this practice is informative and helpful for you. Bye.